Welcome back to Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. All right, so we're back to strong bro. We're back to Strongbow Cider. It is not the dark fruit this time. It is their original blend of herbs and spices, much like the Colonel. Anyway, we've got to start
coming on a little strong there, bro.
Yeah, he's bringing you into it. He's bringing the heat.
We're having a good time out here.
I did not do that voice, to be very clear. I have a man voice.
Popcorn and beers at that.
Very masculine.
I'm Jerry. This is the donkey. Say hi, donkey.
We're a blend of freaks out here. I can't make the noise. I wish I could.
You're so stupid.
Like all the antics. All right. So we all have this, right? We all have a show that we throw on in the background that we've seen 1,000 times while we're doing work. And I thought to think about it, and it's usually like the best shows that exist. And I had to switch mine recently because it used to be The Office, right? I used to watch The Office. And The Office, amazing show. And I just would play it. It'd just play in the background, and you stop and you remember an episode and you get caught watching. You're like, you suddenly catch, like, why the hell am I watching this? I've seen this episode 10,000 times. But lately I switched to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like just on loop, like on repeat. Yep. And it made me think, like, there's so many there was like an era of sitcom, and we're missing that right now. Do you guys have these comfort shows, like anything like that you guys go to?
Oh,
Josh,
yeah,
if you say Seinfeld, I'm going to lose it.
No, it used to be Seinfeld a long time ago, and then it was The Office for a good while. 30 Rock was a big one.
Yeah.
I used to have like the whole show memorized. And then I went Parks and Rec, and I haven't got all the way into Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I'm sure I just as easily could.
For me, it's definitely like Bar Rescue. Oh, you're talking about sitcoms.
You're way too into the butt funnel.
Bar Rescue, Cops.
Cops, you just sit there and sweat. You just.
How much have been drinking?
Sitcoms, no.
This George
no
really
sitcoms, huh?
Cops.
Never?
What's like interracial injustice?
What's like your what's your sitcom like in general? Do you have a great one that you love?
I like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I haven't finished it all, so I'm still watching it, so I have to like sit there and watch it. I can't just let it run in the background. I love that show. Once I finish that, I could easily see that being something I could just throw on and let play.
HBO is a tough one for me.
Arrested Development too.
Yeah, Arrested Development's great, but that one, it's hard for me to just play in the background because the comedy is so intricate. Tight. Like, yeah, it's so tight. The writing is so good. Like, not that the writing on the other shows isn't. It's just not. It's not one of those shows for me that I just pass by.
Like, you kind of have to watch the facial expressions because those are jokes, and like, it's very visual. Anyway,
so many callbacks. Too. So many callbacks in Arrested Development. So if you didn't watch previous episodes, you're not going to really understand the callback. However, I do love what the direction does typically in Arrested Development, where they'll be talking about a time and it'll literally flash back to that scene in the show. Yep. So you get to kind of remember, like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's a bias when he blew himself like Josh did on our Halloween episode of Gort.
I did blew myself.
You did. You blew yourself. All right. So we had a drunk classic. And oftentimes when you guys give me drunk classics, I try to see why. And honestly, with Be Kind Rewind, I was like, I get it. Jordan's always wanted to do this. He's always just wanted to remake movies that he loves with himself in them.
Absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely. Look, it's the overall premise of this movie is like it's adorable. Like, it's just, you can't not feel good just watching these
it's
the whole
adorable.
town. Yeah. you can't help you have feeling good watching this whole town take part in making these movies, and they're all renting them, enjoying them. It's just the way that they get there, the way that they go about bringing this plot, trying to turn this into a movie is just so ridiculous. It's just way too much.
Out magnetism.
Yeah, it's way too much to buy into. It doesn't hold up, for one, because kids just have absolutely no idea what a VHS is these days. Like, you show this to a kid now, and they're just like.
But they do make that joke in this movie. They make that joke in this movie. Like, how are you still renting out VHSs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It meanders a lot, and it's not for everybody, really. You have to be like a hardcore Jack Black fan, for one.
No, this was Jack Black's worst. I really hated it. It was not him being funny. It was annoying. Like, I hated his performance in this. Like, 3 lines in, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is too much.
The practical effects that they're able to pull off when they're like remaking these movies are like genius, though. It's like really the way that they do some of the stuff is like genius. And there's that scene where they have to remake. Which one do they remake? What's the first? Oh, Ghostbusters. They're like, we have 2 hours to do this, and they did all of that in 2 hours. Like,
exactly. Yeah. This movie definitely, like, it plays that trope like all the time in the world throughout the movie. Like, they made a 20-minute movie in a day.
Yeah.
But like you said, like that's the first example. We have an hour. They shot 5 scenes in an hour with practical makeup and everything. I mean, I know it's low budget, but like y'all had like basically 45 minutes. Anyway,
I don't know. Who you gonna call when you need a ghost?
My favorite scene in this movie that I totally forgot about was the ladder and the camouflage. They're trying to climb into the power plant, and he's painted, and that was fantastic. That was really smart. But this is such a popcorn movie. And then the Rush Hour 2 is so problematic for today.
But they do cite that. They cite a lot of different things. Like when he tries to play Fats, and Danny Glover takes him outside and goes, let me just have a conversation with him real quick. Let me just have a talk with you.
I love that. He's waving his hands around. That was great.
Yeah.
I did love that they didn't force a love story also. That was good.
That was very good, and that made her such a great character because she got to flex instead of fawning over the dude who's they're both idiots.
Yeah.
And did you notice that they pretty much like had to? The movie sort of sews itself up, but not like the story is so. Who cares about the premise? The movie's about making movies on a low budget, and they kind of threw it together. But like, why did they blow the budget on that CG? Magnetizing electricity, like that was kind of way out of place, don't you think?
You mean Raiden from Mortal Kombat Part 1?
Yeah. And like I love that, like the whole you're magnetized so you erase things. That's like ridiculous, of course, but I loved how they used it, like just rubbing people's heads on the TV. I loved all the extras, like every side character was like just they're weirdos, dude, but you like them a lot.
Yeah,
but it's like even the neighborhood.
It's like Sissy was weird too. Sissy was
and these are
like an odd
these are mostly kind of the folks that maybe have a lot of time on their hands, so they can just like jump in. Maybe I don't know.
Folks from the neighborhood
right now. But like you said, adorable. I want to give it a popcorn of 1, but it's a popcorn. It's not great, but I'm happy to watch it. Whatever. Yeah, I loved all the montage, the one cut. Where they go from like scene to scene and they're changing the movies.
At the very end.
It was pretty impressive.
Good, yeah, really good.
It was actually really impressive.
The best character was the buddy, his mechanic Wilson, who, by the way, his real name is Irv Gooch. So shout out to that guy.
Yeah, when he quits, he just in dresses, just chill.
If we dig a little bit deeper in this, it really is an interesting take on gentrification of areas and what actually happens when you gentrify areas, how you do take the soul out of a city or out of a town. And this does it in a kind of comic way, right? A comical way, because you do have weirdos that everyone just accepts. Like, yeah, that person is a weirdo, but we love that weirdo. You know, like that person.
We love
this
weird little part of town.
Yeah. And we all go here. These are people everybody knows. We support it because it's like a part of the neighborhood. And we've all had that place. Like, we've all had like a pizza place. We're just like, look, this is a part of the neighborhood. Like, we're just going to go support this pizza place because it belongs here. And I don't want it to go out of business. And it happens here with everybody going back to make the film. Yeah. Mose is a great actor. We need more Mose depth.
Mose is great. Yassine Bey. But don't you feel it was a little unnecessary to have it sort of open-ended, whether or not that place is going to get torn down?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It ends with like the developer guy giving him a Chuck Norris thumbs up. I was like,
like,
sorry,
I don't know what's happening. We don't need that.
Typecast as the Jewish rich guy in every movie that's ever existed. I feel like I've seen him since 1965 as the guy that's going to take your property, but he's going to be really nice about it. I give it a popcorn for sure, but like, it's only because Jack Black was annoying. It is a lovely movie. I love her sister, the girl that comes out and she was in drama. She's such a good touch. The three of them together had really good chemistry. I like that they take Jack Black out of doing the annoying Jack Black things too. They make him a little bit more serious as the movie progresses. So it was a lot more fun. I don't like him acting stupid. Like, that gets annoying after a while.
This performance is very much like his performance on Envy. Do you feel the same way? Like, it didn't really...
it takes till about, like, the first 45 minutes for you to be like, okay, this is better. If he had just played this guy for the first 45 minutes, I would have enjoyed the movie a lot more. But you got, like, 45 minutes of him being a jackass and annoying and, too stupid. You're too stupid at a certain point.
Well, it seems like they blew all the like budget and screenplay and all that on just getting the remakes made, the Swede versions of the movies made, and then everything else they were just freestyling. They're like, all right, let's just get to this good stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of it. So popcorns across the board, it sounds like, but good popcorns, happy popcorns, loving popcorns.
Yeah.
All right, a little bit of kettle corn, a little bit of sweetness. Put a little sweetness in your popcorn, Josh. You buy the dusters. You buy the little dusters. What a great movie theater scam, those popcorn dusters. Why can't you just dust my popcorn? All right, so we now go to our butter on top, which was one that was hard to find because there was not a lot out this weekend. So we settled on Blink Twice. And I was pleasantly surprised, but it doesn't look like Jordan was. Jordan, why don't you lead us off and maybe I can make up for whatever you're about to trash.
Okay. So it starts with a trigger warning.
Oh,
very explicit trigger warning. The movie starts like actual words come up and say you are going to be triggered by some of the things in this movie.
Like 5 sentences of trigger warning.
Yeah. And so it kind of gives away what's happening.
Yeah.
In a sense, like you kind of, it kind of alludes to what's going to happen in the movie. So that kind of ruins that. But I mean, I guess it's a good thing, but I don't know.
It does ruin the twist in the film. Like I did not think the movie was going to be about what it ended up being about. I thought it was going to be more like, you remember that movie, The Temple, where they hike to the temple and like the vines are eating them or whatever.
That's the ruins,
whatever.
Yeah.
Dumb movie.
Whatever.
It was going to be more like that. Yeah, you're right, Jordan. It was the ruins.
Yeah. And the message of this movie is don't vape and don't rape. Don't
vape, don't rape.
Yeah. Don't vape and don't rape.
Or spray. Or spray, right?
Yeah.
No perfume. Don't use the provided for perfume.
Yeah. Yeah. The creepy vampire gala that they go to in like the all white room. Of course they were just, scouting for victims there. Like that was very obvious.
Vampire room.
The red chair thing with him, like, this doesn't work here. I don't like this. This looks weird. And they're just, this is a big focus of the movie. This red chair in his hotel room or his little villa room makes no sense. The assistant lady.
It does make sense. You find out that Gina Davis, something happened to Gina Davis
in that chair.
When she reacts to the cure, I don't want to give away any parts of the movie, so I'm doing my best to not spoil. When she reacts to the cure, it is viscerally associated with that chair. That's what jogged her memory.
Okay.
Because she then proceeds to pour gasoline and whatever on the chair.
Mm-hmm. again, her whole part in the movie it didn't make sense to me. I didn't get it. Like, it was just everything with her seemed like it was just this crazy drunk woman who was kind of complicit, and then everything, like,
she was absolutely complicit.
Yeah, just everything blows up on her and she goes really crazy, and I didn't get it at all. I didn't get her part. It goes from a really dark screen at the end back to the vampire gala room that was really bright at the end, and I was like, oh god, like I needed a trigger warning for that. That was I didn't like it. It was popcorn for me. It was just too much. It's very millennial Get Out, female version of Get Out ish.
Holy crap!
Like, yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny. I put one of my notes is elements of Get Out and The Menu.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say millennials, very Gen Z, but yeah.
All right, so popcorn movie for you. There's a lot of foreshadowing. I want to bring your attention to the camera work. The camera work was almost impeccable. It was so beautifully shot in all areas, the angles, the close-ups. I wasn't turned off by the close-ups, and then the sound mixing of the chewing of the food and the distracting, like, how are they being distracted? Oh, it's because we're going to put lavish settings around them. We're going to put a personal chef that is hand prepping all these beautiful meals, and we're going to feel the decadence in every bite by the way we film up close and we hear the sound, and you actually physically see the distraction. And the director really like shows you, hey, this is why these people are so distracted by what's going on. And then one of the best lines is by what's her face from Arrested Development. Who does she play in Arrested Development? The cousin. She's also in Old Man.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. When she gets bit by a viper and she says, I feel like I'm having a great time, but also I feel like I'm not having a great time. And, or no, that's not her. That's actually, pardon me, that's the other actress, but maybe has a similar reveal as well. And then we never see her again, which is very interesting take. I think that the way they display it is not heavy-handed until towards the end. I think if we had cut it out right before the second gala, I didn't need to see that. No. I didn't need to see that at all. She didn't have to say, like, you wanted to be like, now she's a boss bitch, but I didn't need that. I didn't need that at all. It could have just been her and the other young lady at the end, and that would have been perfect ending. Boom, crushed it. Much like The Menu, Anna Taylor-Joy. Eating the burger while everything was up in flames, like, it would have been very similar to that aesthetic. I think that everybody was ass off in acting in this movie. I do, except for the main character. She was just okay to me in her performance. It was just fine, but everyone else around her was phenomenally, like, they were doing a great job portraying her. Even Haley Joel Osment, like, they were doing a really good job of portraying who they were supposed to. And a lot of it is reaction that you would expect in a situation like this, especially when you're being made to forget. Frida is chasing the dream. She's our main character of being a billionaire, being something more than what she is, figuring out her life. And she finds herself in a terrible situation where she trusts without verifying. She does not verify that she should be trusting these people. It gets deeper into the psychology of what can happen. I think the quote from the movie is, forgetting is a gift. And they really dive into why and what happens with trauma and how a lot of people will block out some of the traumas that they have. There's some old people that make really creepy devices within the film as well, and they do a great job of that. I'm gonna give it a pop 1. I think the ending, you could cut it off about 15 minutes early, and we got a really solid ending. I think Channing Tatum tried his best in the role. He was fine. I don't know that Freda did the best job, but she was fine. And most of the other actors and actresses did a very solid job. Go ahead, Jordan.
Her facial expressions just, like, scream that she knows something is up. Like, she's supposed to be pretending, and it's like anybody with eyes would be able to tell that she knows, like, the jig is up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can cut this part out, Josh. because I'm going to spoil it. Jordan, at the dinner table, after everybody is aware of what's going on, that was some of the worst acting I've seen in a very long time. When they're like supposed to be pretending,
right?
I was like,
and
this
they're
is
like dancing
real
on the table. Yeah,
this is really, really rough as far as acting goes. But it was so, their acting was so heavy-handed in that scene. It took away from the performances they were having in the movie.
Even the girls when they're supposed to be drunk, they're like, I'm from Dykeman.
Oh yeah, the Puerto Rican or Dominican girl.
Yeah,
she was rough.
Too much.
The high girl did okay though. The stoner.
Oh, the girl. Yeah.
She was fine.
Yeah. Liked her.
All right, so Josh, let's cut to you and what you were watching this week.
Okay. I'll start with the one I think will make you angry. I watched a little indie film called Back to the Future.
Yeah, very, very obvious play at a drunk classic.
Yeah, I like to pick movies that Frye has to take off his list. Just, I don't know, makes me happy. Little giggle. Anyway, no, it popped up on Netflix. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Sure. It was something I could watch with Matt.
There's not much everyone can watch, though.
It is a movie everyone can watch, and I think, the obvious statement, this should be studied in college. It is studied in college. It's perfectly formulaic. It sets a formula, perhaps. It like every scene of this is so well crafted and so like seamless into the next. Spielberg, dude. Boom.
Spielberg as a adjective is fantastic.
Yeah, he berged it. Oh, this movie totally berged it, dude. It's a good movie. It's a weird premise. We all know that. There's been comedy sketches about it, but it's kind of like whatever. I got to know what happens next, and it tells you right away. It's just so, there's a reason that it's a classic and it's a timeless movie and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Cool effects, too. I forgot how good the effects are. So, whatever, popcorn and 3.
It wasn't supposed to be Michael J. Fox.
It wasn't? It was supposed to be Will Smith?
No. Yeah, but we couldn't do that in the 90s or 80s. But it was supposed to be, oh gosh, who was it? It was an actor, and I was like, man, that would have been such a different movie if they had gotten that person.
Charlie Sheen. Wow, Doc. Gotta go back to the future.
The Libyans, fantastic jokes. What is it? That's where we get the cardiac or catalytic converter, right? That's where we get that from. Is he digging through the trash for biofuels or whatever for the DeLorean? Got to get this up to 85. Like it's a lot of funny jokes in this, but The Power of Love was like a theme song to Kindergarten and Beyond for me. And it's the whole aesthetic of that scene.
Huey Lewis.
Oh boy, you're gonna hate the next reunion. But the power of the aesthetics in that scene is what makes The Power of Love such a great song. Is he hops on his skateboard? It's almost like a banana board, right? With his Nikes on, cuffed jeans, a Moon Man vest, and a button-up plaid shirt. And he's grabbing the back of trucks and tailgates, and it sets the tone for the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool as shit. Yeah, Marty McFly, dude. Marty McFly's cool, dude.
You wanted to be Marty McFly. He's got the guitar, right? You get Johnny Be Good, Earth Angel. Like, there's so much to love in this. When he punches Biff for the first time, fantastic.
Yeah, he stands up to the bully.
Yeah.
There's so much get beat up, but...
So much to love here in this movie, and I'm so glad that it is standing the test of time and we're still watching Back to the Future. Jordan, what were you watching?
I watched something that you reviewed last week, the kid high school raunch-com Incoming.
Mm-hmm.
Incoming. I like the main kid. He's a good actor. He's from The Black Phone. I think you said that too last week. Yeah, I like him. I see him as like the next generation's Joseph Gordon-Levitt or something,
We'll see. He can't sing.
Well, I think that was kind of the point of the whole movie, was that he's supposed to like not be the best singer. Like he does like
No, he was supposed to be like great theater kid on did all the plays and stuff leading up to this, and this is why she was so into him. Was he was just himself, and then he gets up there and sings, and it's like, please stop this.
Yeah,
like I need it to end.
Don't be yourself anymore.
And honestly, the girl like sucks. Like I get it, you're in high school, and like you just she's pretty and all that, but like as a person, one, you are the company you keep. So his sister is literally known for being just like a terrible, bad person to everybody. Yeah. Like her girlfriend breaks up for her because she's like, you make people feel bad. That's why I don't want to be with you. And you are the company. Yeah. So like she humiliates him at the end and then throws a wink back at him. Like, no, sorry, you suck. She's a terrible person.
She's not going to be seen with you in public though.
Yeah. The kids swearing for no reason, like, and just not swearing well isn't funny to me. Like they're just like,
oh yeah,
not able to swear properly, and it's not funny. Like it's funnier if you can make it seem natural. Like that's just the way that they talk. But it just seemed like very like they're being forced to swear. Like you're telling a kid to swear.
I kind of think that makes sense though. Do you remember when you were a kid in high school? You kind of forced yourself to swear, and you wanted to look cool.
No, yeah, but you were always bad at it. Like. Or you overdid it, like, too many F-bombs. Like, you say it 3 times in one sentence or whatever.
The first time you learn prostitute, you say it 70 times.
Yeah.
It's painfully Gen Z, this movie. The car, the whole teacher, what's his name? The actor?
Pulled him up last week.
Yes, that guy, the actor from Old Dads that we I don't know. But, his whole storyline was super, didn't need to be in there. He had funny moments, but it's so unbelievable. Like the teacher going to the party. Yeah. Like they didn't need that. And the car scene was like the most visceral reaction I've had to watching a movie with the drunk girl in the Taco Bell.
Ugh.
Visceral reaction to like, I was cracking up, but I was also just crazy disgusted. But I think
so gross.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. This is a popcorn movie, but I thought this was fun. Like I could put this on and have it playing. I can have this on. Yeah.
So you could put this on and keep it playing, huh?
I could. Yeah.
That would be fine. Never seeing this film again.
It was fun. Wow.
All right, so it was for Blink Twice. It was Adria Arona. And it was Naomi Aki, and then Aaliyah Shawakat, I want to say. Ooh, can't pronounce it, but that's maybe. Those were the people that we were talking about earlier. I want to give them credit. Christian Slater was really good in Blink Twice, too, by the way. He was really good in Blink Twice.
Yeah. No, who else was in it that surprised me was Dirt Nasty from Scary Movie 2.
Dirt Nasty.
Yeah.
All right, so I watched Jackpot, much like these jerks, and like I said last week, welcome to your third review of Jackpot. I liked it more than Jordan 2. I did. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fine. Simu Liu was interesting as a villain. Yeah. I think he's kind of finding his little niche as a villain in a lot of movies, because he was also one of the better parts of that atrocity Atlas on Netflix with Jennifer Lopez.
He's also somewhat of like the villain-ish, if you could call him that, in the movie Arthur the King with Mark Wahlberg.
Is he?
Yeah. He plays kind of a jerk in that movie.
Okay, yeah, he plays really arrogant jerk well.
Yeah,
he does
exactly.
it well.
Exactly.
It's going to be hard for him to come back as Shang-Chi in part 2, as he's just been playing arrogant jerks after arrogant jerks after arrogant jerks.
That's Marvel. That's Marvel and Disney's fault for making us wait so long for it. Like the guy's got to
make money, and this is his time to strike too, right? Barbie, like he's been hot. Like Simu Liu's been hot right now. So,
Hansel's so hot right now, Hansel.
Right, but he has been very, very good. And I will say that the Al Snow joke that neither one of you mentioned. Do you guys remember WWE or WWF back in the day? Al Snow.
Which one? Who's he?
Okay, Al Snow was the guy that carried around a mannequin head, and he used to say, "What does everybody want? Head." And he'd say, "Who wants some head?" And he'd take the mannequin head and he'd hit him in the balls with it. She does that joke in the Wax Museum.
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, I love the Al Snow joke that just gets thrown in there." It made me laugh really hard. I'm sure if both of you Google Al Snow, you'll know exactly who it is.
I've seen clip of that before. Yeah.
Yeah. What does everybody want? Head. And
Very
he just carried on ahead. It's like most of wrestling in the Attitude Era is problematic, if we're going to be real.
Definitely.
But I give this movie a popcorn. You guys already talked about it. If you guys want to see, go back and watch our previous 2 episodes. We get pretty comprehensive with the reviews. I will say her neighbor, or her Airbnb superhost is not super. She is the worst person on the planet Earth. And it is funny.
They have a funny chemistry. They have a funny chemistry.
But it is funny that MGK goes, "Who are you again?" after she tells him they hooked up. I was like, she deserved that. That character deserved that. That was funny. Yeah. And then I watched Sandcastle. Now, this was a Operation Iraqi Freedom era movie that talks a little bit about getting stop loss and a little bit about trauma that occurs. Again, it is overblown. It's very Hollywood. It's too heavy-handed in that aspect, but it does do a decent job of some of the other things that happened in that theater and some of the other problems that were faced in that war, in trying to blend in with locals, trying to make sure that you weren't getting people killed for associating with you as the Americans by the terrorists. It is a tough watch, so if you have any form of trauma, it is a trigger warning here because there's a lot that goes on within this movie, but they keep it pretty much to this one squadron that continuously is trying to get the water on, trying to deliver water to a city, and the dangers that go along with it. Overall, it was a popcorn in one, and you get a young Glenn Powell. You get a look at a young Glenn Powell in this, playing his most Glenn Powelliest, and you kind of see, okay, this is why you launched into stardom.
Yeah. I like
All right, Josh, what was next?
Oh, I got a little bit into some Apple TV with a little show called Bad Monkey. I'm just about caught up with where it's releasing weekly, so it's not out yet all the way.
How
so
do you feel about that?
I think we're still in a bit of almost like a Wild West scenario. All the streaming services haven't nailed it down yet. It's going to get nailed down within the next 5 years. It's going to be pretty much, this is how we do it now. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with weekly release at the moment. I mean, I don't know. If you give me something good,
Jordan.
Yeah, I like it better than half the season and then waiting a month to get the other half of the season.
Yes, please.
I'll live with that. Out of the two.
Yeah, I don't want breaks in the middle. Come on now.
I want to binge, man. Sure. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's fine. Too. I respect it, but let me just get through it. Let me binge it.
Well, I just wait. I'll wait for episodes to come out, and then I'll go and binge it once it's like almost over.
Yeah, but sometimes a show is just so good. I do recall like how big it was. It was like a big night when it was Game of Thrones night.
House of the Dragon. You can't wait for that one because people will spoil it.
Yeah. And people talk about it, and like it's really cool to like get into it with people like when it's happening. You know, there's something that's missing there with a binge.
Okay. Game of Thrones.
It's a private eye type of thing, but it's set in Miami and it's daytime. It's not all grim and gloomy like a lot of.
It's kind of set in the Keys, bro.
The Keys, Florida Keys. Didn't I say Florida?
You said Miami.
Them Keys from overseas.
It has some elements. Okay. No, you're not wrong. I'm sorry. I don't mean. I'm watching it as well. Sorry.
It's specifically not Miami because he goes to Miami for a thing. So it's in the Keys.
Yeah, Miami. It's really funny how he gets kicked out of Miami too.
I really like the show. I mean, Vince Vaughn is a little bit not quite Wedding Crashers. He's subdued a little bit, but he still has the exact same like whip crack witticism and wittiness. Wit. I don't know what to say.
More swingers, Vince.
Yeah,
than
he's believable. He's not a clown man. But he still has the fast mouth. It's really good. It's nothing. It's just a murder mystery. So I called it years ago. Like there's a murder mystery every couple months now, but that's fine. I like them. So if you want to see a cop guy do cop things that are like you're stepping over the line, all that kind of thing, just check it out. It's ongoing. I think we're on episode 5.
Yeah, this week will be the release of episode 5, but. I will say Bill Lawrence, who is the writer of that show, is on a hot streak right now with what appears to be banger after banger after banger because he also, so remember, he's the writer of Scrubs, and then he gave us, I think he was also on Spin City, if I'm not mistaken. And then he did Shrinking and Ted Lasso, and now he's got Bad Monkey, and he's just, and Ted Lasso just got announced for season 4. So it's just, he's riding a wave right now. Wow. Jordan, what was next for you?
Yeah. I watched a show that is regarded as one of the best television shows of all time, short series, whatever you want to call it, on HBO, Band of Brothers.
Yes, sir.
It's got a lot of young people, a lot of faces that are very young from now. You get David Schwimmer as a drill sergeant. Didn't love it, but once it plays out, you see he's just this dweeby guy that was kind of connected. So that's how he got his position. And he wasn't really cut out for his role, the military, all that stuff, He's kind of just a prick. Jimmy Fallon has 5 lines in this. He's very young, very, very young. Tom Hardy is in this, and he has 10, 15 lines throughout this. Lots of faces. Every episode, there's hey, look at that guy. He's really young, and he has 2 lines, and then he's gone. I love the real soldier testimonials in the beginning and at the end of every episode. Some of the fight scenes in the beginning are a little herky-jerky going on. You can't really follow what's going on, but it gets better. Just the way that they their take on D-Day was all just very hectic, herky-jerky, and maybe that's just was the reality of it, very disjointed chaos. And then later on, it really zones in, and the battle scenes get really good. The last episode with the inter-army drama that's going on, the Nazis have all but surrendered, and they're just guys are 3 points away from, military points, whatever, from going home, from being sent home. So they have to stick around for a little bit longer. And they're we have no enemy. You got a bunch of young guys that are all, gung ho. And, but we have a lot of alcohol and a lot of guns. And so there's all these problems going on within the army. And I was wow, this is a really different take on, I've never seen that take before. It was fantastic. Of course it ends Sandlot style, where, and this guy went on to be a mechanic, and this guy went on to be a politician. And it's literally them playing baseball, and then they disappear as it gives their bio.
Yeah.
Of course. But it's very cheesy. But it's a popcorn 3. And I'm going to watch the follow-up to it, The Pacific, with Rami Malek. Yeah,
dude. You got John Bernthal. Yeah. I haven't finished that one. I want to get all the way through that. It looks good.
Yeah, HBO had some bangers in the early years. I've literally never watched an episode of Oz. Never.
I haven't seen Oz. I don't think I want to.
It's on my list.
Yeah, never seen an episode of The Wire.
Oh,
dude. I think you would really enjoy The Wire, dude.
I love The Wire. Oh, my God.
I love The Wire.
So I love Chalky White, the actor that recently passed. I thought he was great. He was fantastic in a lot of different things. But yeah, he's in that. So we'll see. Anyway, I watched Kaos, the new Jeff Goldblum. And I knew I was going to watch it when it was announced that it was coming out with Jeff Goldblum. I thought it was a movie. I was wrong. This is a new take on Greek gods in the modern era. And while interesting, it still delivers on it still does not deliver on shallow plot points, too many side quests, and not enough focus on the main story. Acting is great at times. The cast is star-studded. The show just leaves too much to be desired, making me wonder what was left on the cutting room floor. What did they actually leave out?
Did you ask AI to write that review just now? Or?
That's my notes. That's my notes. So, and it's because lately because it's so many TV shows, I've just been trying to capture my thoughts after I finish the show or after I finish the movie, and not during it, so I can get a full thought of what I thought of it. And that really is what I thought of it. Also, they kill a kitten. So automatic downgrade. Automatic downgrade. And it's very brutal the way they do it. So unnecessary, and it hurt me to watch it happen. It is fine. And if you like the Greek gods, it is fine. But it's not going to deliver on a lot of things that you were asking for. It puts way too much into trying to appeal to every single subset of human being. Like it wants to appeal to African American, Latino. There's no one is Greek in this movie. I don't think everyone speaks perfect English or is British English and or American English. It has Amazons in it. You can follow the obvious plot points and storylines in that. Then it has like Dionysus, who they kind of play with him a little bit. And then we have some some transgender things going on that we have to play with a little bit. And I'm just like, okay, man, this is all beautiful, but can we choose a plight? Okay? Like, knock this off over and over and over again and just try to put out a quality show. This is a popcorn one.
My grandpa used to say that to my dad. So my dad never got to watch sitcoms as a kid because when they were on, Grandpa would just go turn the TV off and he'd say, "They're always trying to teach you something."
Well, it was funny. I was listening to a radio show, Josh, and Jordan says this is your comfort show. They talk about what works with Curb Your Enthusiasm is you don't learn anything. The characters don't learn anything. They're the same terrible people, and that is what's his face's whole thing. What's the guy's name?
Larry David.
Larry David.
Larry David's whole thing is at the end of this, the characters should have learned nothing, and that will keep the people coming back. And that's true. Like, okay, like sometimes we just want. This is not an Oscar bait show. This is not an Emmy bait show. Stop it. All right.
Not everyone has an arc.
Yeah, like it's fine. What is it? What does Deadpool say? Not everyone gets a speech, or not everyone gets a monologue. It's Deadpool 3, and it's so true. Like, just stop. Like, we don't need all of it. It's beautiful that you're trying, and I know representation matters, but representation matters when done right, not when forced. And it's just a lot of forcing the issue, and it gets hard to watch. Not this show in particular, but I'm sorry for the soapbox. But it does have its moments where you're like, why do you have to include this? It's fine without this included. Yeah, it's unnecessary to the plot points or the storyline. But Chaos, popcorn and one
episode ever.
What else did I watch? Oh, I watched this been reviewed before. Wicked Little Letters. Didn't you watch it, Jordan?
Yes, very fun movie. Really like that.
That was a fun movie. I love a period piece, but I don't always want to get all the way into a period piece because it's like, oh my god, more of this. Oh, we're gonna do laundry again. Okay, here's the laundry scene. But this was a comedy, so it piqued my interest, and I say popcorn in one movie. It was funny, in a weird, English way. I don't know.
Very deadpan,
quiet humor.
Yeah.
I forgot the father in this movie. He was in Last Samurai. He was the translator. He lost a ton of weight for this movie. And once again, he's one of the most undersung character actors. He's great.
Know your place.
Yeah. But everyone in this movie actually did a great job. It was very satirical, very silly. It hit some good themes, but it didn't harp on good themes. It was I think in a weird way, it had a happy ending with, spoiler, someone loses their mind. But it was cool. I don't know why. And then I loved the other lady who she looks like she could play Peter Pan. She was the tomboy in the movie. Perfectly pleasant movie, dude. That's the most British way I could review that movie. Perfectly pleasant. One and one.
I watched a movie with absolutely no lessons because there was absolutely no dialogue. It's called Sasquatch Sunset. Okay.
Oh.
This was kind of an indie-ish movie. It was just recently in theaters. It stars Jesse Eisenberg and Riley Keough, but you would not know that because they are in full Sasquatch garb. The whole movie. And they do not speak. They just grunt.
Oh my goodness.
As Sasquatches do, right? Because we consulted with the Sasquatches and they're like, no. Can't talk. Sasquatches don't talk. Yeah. There's a lot of nudity in this movie. First 5 minutes, 2 Sasquatches are going at it. And then he cleans his junk with some leaves. It shows a lot of Sasquatch junk. Riley Keough, her chest, her upper body is shown the whole movie in a Sasquatch way. It's just
in a Sasquatch way, huh?
Yeah, it's
I don't
just
this.
No, yeah. It's very uncomfortable. It's only an hour and a half, so that's why I was able
what
to
is this on?
Right now it's for rent. But yeah.
You rented this film?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes. Yeah. Totally rented it. I splurged. So it's 4 Sasquatches, and they there's like a lady one, a guy, an alpha
there's
male.
Like a lady squatch, there's a guy squatch, there's a little kid squatch.
There is. And then there's a birth scene where they give birth to a baby squatch, where it is like a robot. It's like clearly a doll. This movie just has no plot. It has no plot.
There's no premise?
No. It's just 4 Sasquatches, and they frolic, and they do like really inappropriate kind of funny things. It's just like, this looked like it was a blast to make. Like, they were having so much fun. They're just like, what would be funny to have a Sasquatch do? Like, they find a road. And they freak out because I guess they've never seen roads before. And they freak out, and they all just start like projectile peeing and vomiting and the lady squatch. Yes, as Adam Simon, the lady squatch just starts projectile lactating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's insane. Like, half the time I couldn't believe what I was watching. The alpha. Yeah. The alpha squatch, like, he gets drunk on some rotten berries and he passes out, and then he wakes up and goes on this tirade of like what a really bad male would do on a drunken tirade kind of things. Like, it's like a little problematic, but it's funny the way that this is all just all shot like physical comedy, just non-verbally. You can tell what's going on without having to be said. There's like some really graphic death scenes in this. Like, 2 of the Sasquatches die in a really crazy, ridiculous way. This is a popcorn movie. It's just something. It's something you wouldn't believe if somebody told you about. And I feel like you have to watch it. Like, at least half of this movie, like, watch it and to figure out what I'm talking about here. Not a good movie at all. But it's just an experience, something you have to experience. So, popcorn.
You have to.
So, Josh, what was the movie we saw in the movie theater with Steve Zahn, Jonah Hill? Is like the nature group that goes out.
I forgot what it's called. But
Strange Wilderness, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
When they murdered the Sasquatch. Well, Josh would get really drunk, and then he would just go to the shark. That shark. Man. All right, so Josh, what were you watching?
I'd say I watched a banger. I watched a banger, guys. It's if you thought Lost in Translation was pretty good, then you'll say this is at least okay. Okay? That's how you judge that. Okay. I don't know, man. Anyway, it's called On the Rocks. Rashida Jones, Bill Murray. It's a 2020 film. What does that mean? It didn't come out anywhere. So it kind of fell by the wayside. It fell by the wayside, and or at least that's what the press says. It's Rashida Jones in her movie. Bill Murray plays her dad. It's a movie. Marlon Wayans is the husband who she thinks maybe he's stepping out on her, and then it becomes this whole thing where she's on adventures with her dad, who's Bill Murray, playing the most Bill Murrayest of Bill Murrays, but in a charming way, not like over the top. He's just like so charming and chill and rich, and has all these stories, and they play on that. Like, the daughter's like, okay, whatever, dude. But it's a really charming film. It's quiet. It has a nice ending. It's a nice love story. It's about dealing with a rut that you may be in, perhaps. I don't know. And Bill Murray's a nice side character. It's a popcorn and one. On the Rocks. Okay.
But you recommend it. It sounds like you recommend it.
Yeah. It's a quiet film, but it's enjoyable. It's just something you watch with the wife. I would say, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe not, because it deals heavily in adultery. There's a lot of adultery discussion, so maybe you don't want to have that conversation that evening.
I mean, there are movies like that I just won't watch because it's just too odd, like the one with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver on Netflix, A Marriage Story.
I want to watch that, but I don't know if I can.
Yeah, it's just, it seems like it'd be just too tough of a watch to sit through and I was born before the 90s. I still like to sweep all my problems under the rug. Like I don't want them all brought to the daylight.
No, yeah, okay, but it's not super heavy-handed. It talks about the possibility of infidelity. It talks about what's going on with you, what's going on with him, but it's a very charming film. Bill Murray makes it very charming, and you're just along for a ride, and it's good.
It's a ride worth taking, according to Josh. Anyway, I Frye watched an anime, and I'm not I'm not super into anime, and I finally did it. I got to watch Terminator Salvation. And I gotta say, I'm not entirely sure that it wasn't great. It was really good. It was really good. So Terminator Zero, not Terminator Salvation, Terminator Zero. Let me correct myself. Terminator Zero is an anime on Netflix. It was just released, and I think it debuted at 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Each episode takes place in the span of a day. It's a day where there's a lot of negotiating going on, and newsflash, Skynet is not the only AI out there. One has been created to help save humans from Skynet. Oh, but stop me, you've heard this before. This is the only plot point I hated. It backfires. And they learn to hate humans. And I was kind of like, okay, like it could have been cool, but it's still cool, but like you didn't have to make this one hate humans too. It could have gone either way. And in doing that, it kind of derailed a little bit, but the action in this anime is fantastic. Josh, I think it's right up your alley. The Terminator take was really, really good. The Terminator doesn't even talk through almost any episodes until I think episode 8 maybe is the first time you hear the Terminator talk. The new robotics that you discover, the new people that go back in time to help humanity that you discover is really cool, really well shot. The new story is good. Like, it is an interesting story outside of that whole AI is going to backfire again thing. It was interesting. I like to think that we'll eventually learn a lesson. I don't like the whole theme that we never learn any lessons, even though that's probably more accurate to humanity. Overall, I gave this a popcorn 2, and I think if you're into anime, I think you're going to really like this. I think Terminator Zero is a hit. If you like the lore of Terminator, you're going to really like this.
I think I understand we can get into why you don't like anime in general, but not today. But one thing that I will say is I really don't think I care who you are. You have to admit, like, if I pulled up 10 anime action scenes, you would say, whoa. Like, they do good action.
Just don't pull up Goku. Don't pull up Goku and Vegeta going for a half hour. Yeah. Like, don't pull that up.
No. But like the decent budget movies and like really popular shows, like they have some like really cool stuff because they can do whatever they want with the camera, just like CG, of course. But the hand drawn element of it, the attention to detail in the choreography is really cool.
Okay,
so
all right,
I'm glad that it's doing some stuff with Terminators.
Did you catch one more show you wanted to talk about?
Well, I started Lord of the Rings season 2 on Prime, and first of all, beautiful, just as beautiful as the first. More beautiful, who cares? Everyone's beautiful. But I started watching the season 1 recap, and I'm like, I don't remember that. And whoa, oh yeah, oh well, I don't. And so I was kind of like already confused a little bit, thinking maybe I didn't see all of season 1. I don't remember now. And then this episode progresses, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. That's an orc. I know that. Yeah. So now I'm really excited to see season 2, but I got to go back and watch season 1. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I wish Jordan was here for this because we've connected over this, but I think that stop making shows so dark. It's so hard to see what's happening on Lord of the Rings so frequently that I'm like there's a beautiful fight scene that's so well shot, and I had to like shut everything off in my house, like close all the windows, and I had to rewatch it because I was like, this sounds really cool. It sounds like some really cool stuff's happening, but I can't see it.
There's a disparity between the light and sound production in shows and movies today, and the type of technology the average viewer has.
Yeah,
they're catering to an expensive screen with a perfect theater setting. You know what I mean? And
you've got to watch it all in the dark. I've got 4K, and I've got like, what is it, Ultra 4K, and you've got to watch it in the dark still. You've got to completely darken everything to see what's happening, and it's frustrating. But last thing I watched The Deliverance. This is going to be quick.
The Deliverance?
The Deliverance. Deliverance. No Ned Bailey. All right. But it is, forgive me, I'm going to say this as bluntly as I can. It is Black Amityville horror, and then they have elements of The Exorcist mixed in. And it starts off fine. In the last half hour, it is terrible. The CGI is awful in the last half hour. The storyline gets goofy. They do tropes that we've seen a million times, like the apostle that's performing the exorcism doesn't perform an exorcism. They perform a deliverance, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's an exorcism. But
it's an exorcism.
It's an exorcism. I'm here to tell the audience it's an exorcism. She calls it a deliverance. It's an exorcism. There's probably some copyright rules to where they couldn't call it an exorcism or the exorcist or something. So they call it a deliverance. It was good, bad. That's how it went. It was like, okay, good. I can get behind this. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on. Let me pause what I'm doing and watch this all the way through. There's some meat on this bone. And then the director said, ha, now that I've got you, watch me show you how bad I can make this film suck. And that's what they did. And it just got bad. And it's by Lee Daniels. So that's why I watched it. Because Lee Daniels is great. And this was not. And it's a popcorn. And it suffers that popcorn rating because of the end. The end was so bad. It was so terrible. And it's based on true events, by the way. Just like all of these religious stories are, apparently.
A lot of horror movies, they always drop the ball at the end. Like, it's like, I would say 80% of them, I'm like, what? Good example would be Mirrors. Mirrors was like, oh, spooky. But then, like, in the end, he fist fights a granny demon. Like, what is this?
Yeah. And that's kind of what happens here. It just gets silly. And you're just like, what? Stop. Enough, okay? You had me, ruined it. I hope that doesn't happen, Josh, with our butter on top this week, because I'm very excited about this. Tim Burton is back. Michael Keaton is back. And I'm not going to say it 3 times, but I'll say it twice for you. Beetlejuice is our butter on top this week. I know all of you are going to join us for this nostalgia. I am very excited about it. And now to my drunk classic. And I was thinking, man, there are so many football films. How do I not do a football film when the NFL kicks off next weekend? And my drunk classic just happens to fall on the first weekend of football. And I thought, do I do Wedding Crashers? Because that correlates to football. And I was like, no, because everybody's seen it. It's great. It's funny. I'm in the mood for a comedy. But no. Do I do Starship Troopers? Scene? Yeah. Think deeper. All right?
Sure.
Crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does.
No.
Big tree fall hard. It is one of the most iconic football scenes that you could remember. And then I thought, what about Starship Troopers? Future football, right?
Future football.
We could do that. And then I thought, you know what? Let's go all the way back to what I was thinking. And we're going to watch Necessary Roughness. All right? Necessary Roughness, starring SINBAD and other people.
What?
In a football film. So Necessary Roughness. Let me get it up on my phone so the audience can see what this movie looks like, so you know what to look for on your screen. But yes, it will be Necessary Roughness.
I'm excited to see a SINBAD movie.
You haven't seen Necessary Roughness?
Nah, man. Never heard of it. Oh my God. Who made that?
35% on Rotten Tomatoes. I know you are all excited to see it. You've got Kathy Ireland, Evander Holyfield, SINBAD, Rob Schneider. So I'm taking you guys all the way back to 1991.
Oh. All right.
All right. As always, everyone, thank you for joining us each and every week. We will see you at the movies.
Oh, never mind. See you at the movies.
We got the popcorn. You get the popcorn. We got the beer. Sorry. Josh interrupted the slogan, and the slogan was interrupted.